Morning. How are you all doing? I think we're still waiting for some of the delegates. They are battling with parking, so bear with us, please. I'm Liesl Strauss. I'm representing the Western Cape College of Nursing of the Western Cape Government Health, and I was asked to do the welcome. So you're all most welcome, and thanks for coming. I just want to pose a special welcome to the following stakeholders. I want to say welcome to René Teunissen, our project leader for the CASO project. He's done a stunning job so far, so that's great. René is he's from the Advanced University of Applied Science at the School of Health Breda in the Netherlands. Then I want to pose a big welcome to our CASO External Review Board. Very special people, so reviewing the whole process. Then our CASO teams that has done all the hard work. I really want to commend you on the work being done so far. Then I also want to special welcome to representatives from other universities, nationally and internationally. Welcome our colleagues from the Western Cape College of Nursing, nurse managers, NGOs, other health professionals, our students, very important. And yeah, and then I think the CASO project started 3 years ago in Cape Town, and there was follow-up staff meetings, staff and student mobility meetings in Breda, Latte, and in Antwerp. And I think these meetings were full of a lot of interdisciplinary, international, and intercultural collaboration that was really amazing. And I think the main aim of this project was to build communities and to enhance social inclusiveness and at the end develop health. And I think today we will receive feedback at this symposium, and there will be some further deliberation on the way forward. So I really want to welcome you, and then also to our visitors from Breda, Latte, and Antwerp. I hope you've had some time to enjoy our beautiful mother city. So yeah, and then I want to actually ask René to do the overview. So thanks for that, René.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. I hope we can present you results of the 3-year project, and I would like to introduce the project to you. You can actually already see on the walls a lot of posters that are our working posters we've been working on for the last 3 years, including our actually entire Gantt chart, our project management, to see are we following up on the things we promised to do for the grant that we received from the European Union to do this project together with the 3 universities in Europe, Lahti University of Applied Sciences in Finland, Karel de Grote University College in Belgium, Antwerp, and us in the Netherlands, and then University of Cape Town, Cape Peninsula University of Technology, and University of the Western Cape. Now I hope this works. Yes, it does. Don't read everything, it's just information, but I just wanted to give you a very brief history, because actually with multidisciplinary projects in the healthcare and well-being field in the Cape Town region with contact persons from the 3 South African universities I just mentioned. And then, as you can see, because there's a lot of text, the 2015 year was very important, because that's when I decided to pay a visit to the Cape Town projects and to think about how we could sustain the projects into the future in a different way, because I really was looking for interaction with local universities, but especially also with local students and local professionals. So that's when I started building the consortium with the 6 universities, having meetings with all of them, and talking to a lot of people, a lot of talking, also for me to try and understand how the system works here, how the universities work, and what sort of grant funding program I could use to support this. That has led to the so-called capacity building program. It's one of the Erasmus Plus programs within Europe, and we were successful. Yay! When I got the email in my holiday in 2016, we submitted in the beginning of February, my first thought was, oh my God, now I need to get to work. It was in my holiday in Sweden, and so we did. We started actually quite vigorously in October 2016, so if you go to the right side, not an easy start, because we started in the midst of the Feast Must Fall. We were supposed to be at UWC doing this meeting, the first kickoff meeting, and it did not happen. We had to move at the very last moment. But here we are, 3 years later. The project formally ends the end of September this year. For us it means that we need to wrap up, as we did this week, but even finalizing all the results a bit more, connecting the dots. And then it's going to be reporting to the European Union. So I'm going to be busy till the end of September, and I can release everyone else from their duties from the end of September this year. So got some more time to look into. Just very briefly, the Erasmus Plus program is sort of a 3-layered grant funding program from the European Union, with a big chunk of individual support, credit mobility for staff and students. So most of the budget goes into that funding within Europe, but also outside of Europe. Then there's a big chunk of institutions collaborating strategically, or as in our case, because that's where we are, having a capacity building program. And then there's a smaller chunk on top. It's more like policy reform concerning internationalization in higher education. So it's more strategic. So here we are. It's a transnational corporation, and it's really focusing on, and that's why I put it down here, on educational development. And that posed a lot of confusion as well, because it's not in the first place research development, it is educational development. And that I got some insight in how South African universities work compared to how we work as universities of applied sciences. That did pose some difficulties as well, but really the big focus is on reforming education, modernizing curricula, and innovation in whatever field, but innovation in higher education. So, what we defined under this project, this is just a basic structure. We have actually 3 pillars. A project more looking into the so-called patient partners as patients or clients being experts in for healthcare and well-being curricula. So how to better work together and actually provide better education for healthcare and well-being students by really interacting with the people they are actually going to be working with when they grow up and graduate. And then we have a pillar called the Health and Lifestyle Program, more targeting the primary schools or secondary schools, including how do you make healthy lifestyle choices? How do you integrate physical activity in healthy lifestyle choices? And a lot more ideas concerning preparing young people for better choices in life concerning their health and well-being. And actually together with that, their teachers as well. And then we have a third pillar. It's looking at care professionals, care and well-being professionals, in how we could empower them more by providing more extensive education and training. The choice for these pillars is that the right word? Originated, better word maybe, from the projects we started experimentally running in 2011. So we wanted to continue that. And then within the entire project, we focused on education, curricula. Of course, there is research connected to it. You can intertwine that. Very much focus on service learning, so learning in the community, learning with the community, learning through the community, and using that to focus on participation, social inclusion and empowerment. And you will see that as well on some of the posters, how we've been going about that. So some facts and figures. 6 universities, a 3-year project. We had a interesting budget. However, from the perspective of having to work with 3 universities for 3 years, it's peanuts. So actually these kind of projects require a lot of co-financing from the universities as well. However, if you prioritize this development, you do take into account the co-financing as well. We had 7 staff meetings. There's one to come in August for a smaller group to wrap up. Actually, we had in total on the 6 universities 43 participants, and I'm very proud of all the people that have been contributing to this project. So these are the participants from the universities, staff members. We had a lot of students. We had EU students coming to South Africa for almost a full semester to work for the project in different areas. But we also had South African students coming to Finland, Breda and Antwerp to work with us in CASO related projects. And then, as Liesl already mentioned, a lot of associated partners that helped us in realize our aims and objectives. And on top of that, we had many meetings. Face to face, but also, depending on technology, Skype, WhatsApp. We all have been very frustrated about failing technology, etc., but we needed to deal with it. You know, there's only so much budget available for staff meetings, so we really needed to deal with that. And so we did. And I had meetings with the EASEA, which is the grant supporting authority in Brussels, that I need to report to as well. So I was in direct contact with them. So, CASO, Caring Society. Actually, I stole the word from a research expertise center that we run in Avans. It's also called Caring Society, under which we have 4 research groups. One looking at active aging, healthy aging. One looking at end-of-life care. One group looking at lifelong movement. And one looking at... I'm missing one now. John, where are you? What's the 4th one? Sorry? Living emotion. Thank you very much. All related to healthcare and well-being. So I actually briefly want to take you through the CASO project in 6 staff meetings. Buckle up. Okay. It was the Feast Must Fall, so I was very grateful for CPUT to grant us the option to have the first staff meeting at a winery in Simpanen. Can you start better with a project? So I thought wine and champagne really fit to that. But, however, what now? I mean, turning a successful application into a project, that's different business. That's really something else. So we needed to go about that very carefully, trying to understand all the needs and all the projects. So, you know, there was some confusion. It actually never went away, the confusion, as you can see in the second staff meeting. A lot of ideas. This was in Breda, the first one in Cape Town. Actually, Simonsvlei, and after Simonsvlei we moved to Lentegeer. Interesting location for a meeting, but you know, there was so much going on and people were like, well, where do we go? What direction should we go into? What do they expect from us? They were all professionals. Manage a bunch of 35 professionals is different business, with all their own ideas. But we started building. We started building on the projects. You know, and this one we closed off with an ice hockey game in Finland. And, oh yeah, by the way, the confusion was still a little bit there. Never went away. Okay, let's go to the... Actually, that poster up there on the right, well, the people in the back cannot see it. And that one is sort of the result of that staff meeting, where we had to really define how are we now linking these projects. Instead of having standalone projects, there has to be a common framework, there has to be connections. So we started working on that. Thank you very much. And then here we are. Start and finish. Well, sort of finish. The confusion is still a little bit there, but we are connecting the dots. And one of our major outputs, and of course the pressure remains, but a major output is a so-called open educational resource. It's a requirement from the European Union because, you know, I'm spending European tax money, so we need to give back to society. So that requirement is very important. We're sort of building up a hybrid model of a movement in which we collect all the content that we developed within these project pillars that I explained before and make that accessible to everyone who is interested in these themes in education, teachers as well as students all around the world. So that's a very important achievement. We're still working on it. The structure's there, filling it up with content is going to be finalized in the next few months. I said 7 staff meetings. I mentioned it briefly already. Still some confusion because the major thing of administration that I have to report back to the agency in Brussels, including signatures of all of you actually as well attending this symposium, and getting improvement on all our travel. Well, you don't want to know about it. But that's what we're facing. So in August, we're going to have a final meeting in George with a smaller group of people doing the preparations for the final report that I then submit by the end of December of this year. All right. Well, so before I give the floor to the people really developing the content and the projects, because I could step back. In a way, it was a bit easy for me. It was not, but, you know, just for the sake of it, because there's a lot of people that have been contributing to this project. As I said in the beginning, 43 members from universities, students. The students are not here, this is only the university participants, but also external partners who provided support to the project, like Playing Sports for All and Zakeni. But, of course, I want to thank all of them. I do want to have 2 people. Well, this is not a person, this is an entire institution, to be honest. A big institution, but I do want to mention CPUT because they have been so supporting for the project, providing Simonsvlei as a location, but also last week with a lot of issues we've been dealing with. It hasn't been easy this week, but on many levels they have been supporting this project, and I'm very grateful for CPUT. I really like to ask Chris Young to come forward. I've got something for you. Hold it while I'll explain. Why am I doing this? I found a person that I could work with. He was, well, in the beginning we were sort of like, I remember Rachel saying we need a local René because we need a local manager as well. Chris stepped forward. I found a person who became my working partner, my partner in crime, who became a friend for life. We have been by the fact that you have a braai in your home in an open fireplace. It was unknown to me when I came to South Africa. Even, you know, in 2015 I didn't realize that existed when I first visited his home. So by having all these people, I started thinking, maybe he needs some time off. So we bought him actually a table braai, so he can sit there by himself and then have a little braai, and you know, maybe his family can join, but he could also do it by himself without all those CASO peoples bothering him. So thank you. Thank you. Big hand for that. Okay, so I will give the floor now to the people representing the work packages, as we call it, the 3 projects. We start with the patient partner program and then we continue with this. I need to switch to another presentation, so I'd like to ask Rachel and Bart to come forward. You're going to be using the presenter?